I'm here to listen. Why am I walking on this way?
Hello and welcome to Muse's AT Podcast, where you can relive my epic journey with me. This is Muse, and what follows is my Appalachian Trail story. And this is going to be our Trail Days episode. We'll see what this turns out to be. This is my first Trail Days. I heard it said many times on trail, you got to go to Trail Days the year after you have completed your thru hike. So that is exactly what I'm doing. Actually, what I'm doing directly right now is I'm walking back to Tent City. The parking lot there was full, and so I snagged a spot on Main Street there, and we'll see where things go from here. Very excited for the weekend. All right, Muse here from the home studio, and I'm going to work in a little bit of festival background, keep the ambiance going. But I just want to break in, make sure we're keeping this a nice narrative flow. So Thursday night, as I just arrived, you heard my intro taken there on site. I do have a little bit of on-site narration that I will still keep going through, and you're going to hear a little bit of misadventure that I had at the beginning there. And then I'm going to meet a number of my friends on Thursday night, so you'll get to hear a lot of that, starting with Crooked Letter and then a number of other Sobos. But mixed in between there was a guy, Q, my first 2026 hiker that I interviewed, and he took our picture, Crooked Letter and me, at the park there in Damascus. We're going to wrap up Thursday night, catching up with Miss Janet, so pretty excited to have all of that, and that is coming your way. This episode likely is going to be a little bit on the long side. It might even almost feel like an interview episode, but I listened through the audio on the drive home. I think a lot of it's very good, and I think you're in for a treat, so hopefully you feel the same way. All right, before we jump back in, let's go ahead and do today's haiku. This haiku actually comes to you from a sign that was on the side of the road, and I don't know if it was intended to be a haiku, but it almost worked out perfectly. 16 out of the 17 syllables have to be credited to an unknown collaborator, and the 17th syllable I will give credit to Riding Shotgun. This haiku was encountered rather than written on May 16th, 2026. Weeds are flowers too. Once you get to know them, please do not cut or pick. And now back to me from 4 days ago. All right, I am almost back to Tent City. I can kind of see it from here. Actually, when I parked my car, I stopped into Damascus Outfitter, which was great. On trail last year, I bought the pack there that I finished the trail with. And I talked to the guy at the register for a little bit. I'm actually here with a sticker that I designed, so I just left a stack of stickers there. Hopefully people will take those. That'll be awesome. Grow the audience here. Well, I'm walking back to Tent City again. A little bit of a misadventure there. So when I was in Mountain City at the gas station, I tried to pay with my card, and then their system just went down like literally as I was trying to pay with my card. So I pulled out my cash that I got for the trip, and I said, can I just pay in cash, right? I kind of wanted to get here, and so didn't want to wait for their system to sort of reboot or anything like that. Stuck my envelope of cash in my back pocket. I got to pay there at Tent City for my tenting spot, and there's no cash in my pocket. I'm like, oh no. So I'm like, well, I'm going to walk back to my car, see if it fell out in the car or whatever. And I'm walking back to Main Street, right across from the Outfitter, because that's where I parked. And I'm walking back, and I remember about halfway there, I'm like, wait a second, what pocket is that? And I reached in my back pocket, no bottom to the back pocket. That back pocket hasn't had a bottom since probably about the time I was here last year, or probably even earlier than that on the trail last year. So I'm like, oh, there's no way. There's no way it's in my car. There's no way it's in the Outfitter. Like, there's no bottom to this pocket at all. That fell out as soon as I put it in there. That's at the gas station, Mountain City. Well, that wasn't the case. I actually did fall out in the Outfitter. So I checked my car first, went over to the Outfitter, and asked, hey, long shot, because I thought it really was a long shot at this point. Like I said, I thought it was at a gas station in Mountain City. I'm like, long shot, did I happen to drop an envelope of cash? And he's like, the guy at the register, he's like, yeah, you did. And those two ladies right there picked it up, and they were, they brought it to me, and I don't know. I mean, some of that's a bit of a testament to hiker culture, right? I don't know if that ends that way everywhere in the world, right? And here you drop an envelope with almost $200 in it, and you get it back. It's kind of crazy. So feeling a bit of gratitude right now, even if it is, kind of mercenary gratitude, but still feeling a bit of gratitude right now, and headed back to Tent City. All right, I have met my first fellow hiker from 2025. What's your trail name?
Crooked Letter.
Crooked Letter, awesome. So I am asking you in the context of Muse's AT podcast, of course. You were a significant part of Muse's AT story. Can you go ahead and tell us where you fit into that story?
We met in Cheshire as the Slowbows, and then we hiked mostly together through northern New York. And then I led you by about a day through most of Pennsylvania, and then we did northern Virginia together, basically, if I remember correctly.
That sounds about right. All right, so what advice would you have for this year's thru hiking class?
Well, I'll go with the same advice I gave to another guy who interviewed me before, and that is, it's what people told me, and it sounds easy, but it actually works, and that's don't quit on a bad day.
Nice. Awesome. Thank you. Now let's go get some food.
Yeah.
You want to be on the show?
Yeah.
All right, what's your trail name?
Q.
And what is your favorite trail story so far?
The detour around, right after Uncle Johnny's cabin, because that bridge is out, we hiked along the trestle. It's about 0.3 miles on the active railway along the bridge. And every time you'd look beneath the cracks of the, train tracks, it's just a 40-foot drop straight down into rocks.
So do they have you going across that bridge now? Okay.
They don't recommend doing that at all. They actually encourage you not to do that. But someone said they were, and we thought it'd be a cool idea. And, being a young 20-year-old, that's right up my alley.
Sure.
But it was a little frightening, and at one point I was halfway across. I'm like, if I hear a train, I'm not making it to the other side. So.
Awesome. Excellent. Well, enjoy trail days and enjoy the rest of your hike.
Thank you. Great meeting the both of you.
Nice meeting you.
See ya.
All right, I am here at the Wicked Chicken in Damascus, and I am here with a bunch of my friends from the trail, and I'm going to ask them a couple of these questions here. So I'll just pass the phone around. First question is, what is your trail name?
My name is Big Pimpin'.
All right.
I'm Frogger.
I'm Pastor Frank.
Eddie Machete.
And I'm Daddy Longlegs.
And he's already done one, so he just wants to skip.
I can be in it. I didn't know what you wanted.
It's all good. Crooked Letter's here, too. All right. The second question is, and we'll see if you can remember, but where do you fit in Muse's Appalachian Trail story? So where did you, answer it however you want to, actually. I don't have to direct you more than that. Go for it.
We crossed paths a couple of times. Can't remember the first time. It was in Maine or New Hampshire?
It's kind of funny because I can't remember exactly where in Maine I met you either, but it was in Maine. Okay. I remember that.
And then
I think it might have been Shaw's, honestly. I'm not sure.
Okay.
But maybe.
Okay. And then we crossed paths a couple more times.
Definitely Definitely Devil's
Virginia.
Backbone.
Yeah.
I know we've been
Was that it?
I feel like
I feel like in Vermont.
Yes, you were there the day you and Pastor Frank just zipped by me, because that was when you guys were hanging with those guys who were ridiculously fast, and you were hanging with them just fine. Yeah. So, yeah, it was like, hey, Big Pimpin', hey, Pastor Frank, bye, I'll never see you again. And then I did see you again, so, yeah.
Beautiful. This is Frogger. I met you at Shaw's. You were already there with your daughter, and she was going to be leaving trail. And so by the time I neroed and then zeroed, and even by the time I left, you were still there because you were figuring out all the logistics. And so I didn't know if I'd see you again. I didn't know how any of this worked. And then I saw you again at one of the shelters right before the Kennebunk. You were listening to a guided meditation, and I was going in there to stretch. And then you rolled out.
Give me cheese.
And I gave you cheese. My mom shipped me a bunch of cheese. And I had 6 logs of cheese that she was going to send me. That was the only one she sent me because...
You said no more.
No, because when you receive it, when it goes through a hot place in the mail, it's just so oily and disgusting. So you got the only good cheese I've received on trail. And then I didn't see you again until Devil's Backbone. That's right. Where...
That's not true.
That's not true?
What?
No, Notch Hostel.
The Notch Hostel.
I caught up with you.
That's right. I hurt myself. I got off trail for 10 days. And then on my reunion back at Notch Hostel, you were there. Mm-hmm. That's right.
And I didn't recognize you.
You and Shotgun were there.
Yep.
Yeah, shotguns will be here tomorrow.
Shotgun will be here tomorrow.
I'm excited
Wonderful.
to see that, man.
All right. That is how I fit into Muse's AT story.
This is Pastor Frank, and how I fit into Muse's AT through hike is we met at the Hostel of Maine, and you were a vegetarian.
I was a vegetarian.
Maybe you still are. I don't know, but I remember that.
I ordered a chicken sandwich, so no. But
Okay, I'm interested to hear how that went.
was a vegetarian.
Yeah, you were a vegetarian. I remembered that.
trail change.
The trail changed you. It did. It will change you in some ways. And then, okay. So I met you as a vegetarian, and then I didn't see you again until we flew past you heading into Rutland, Vermont. I saw you, and then I was like, "Where's Shotgun?" And you're like, "He's just ahead." And then I saw you in Devil's. Yes, we saw him. And then we wound up.
A mile ahead of me, right?
Yes, and then we wound up hanging out in Rutland with Shotgun. We went to an Italian dinner in Rutland, and it was one of my favorite memories on trail. And then I saw you at Devil's Backbone, and I did not recognize you at first because you had the do-rag on and the beard. And I was like, oh my God, this Muse. And you live with me every day in the trail logs I would read in your poems.
So, 2 real encounters. The most recent, most obvious is meeting face to face today at 2026 AT Trail Days. But we have shown up on each other's Instagram recommended profiles because of your connection with these fine hikers. That's about it.
That's about it.
Let's keep it simple.
Where I stand in Muse's trail hike, I met him and his daughter at the first shelter, first official shelter, and you were the first one that I met, like officially. I was walking alone. Actually, with one other person, Neanderthal. She wanted to do the 100-mile wilderness in 30 days. Crazy, I know. You can do it in 10 or less than that, because I did it in 10. To quit cigarettes, yes. But she was awesome. She made me pancakes that morning. But anyways, when I met you, it was the night before, around 6:30 with your daughter. You guys were hanging out in the shelter. And I met like 2 other people there too. Yeah, and it was great to meet you and your daughter then, to hear about like what your journey was about with your daughter. Because like I was going through my own journey too, kind of like trying to like figure things out, in a sense. And I was just so happy to see you the second time at Devil's Backbone, because I was like, Muse is supposed to be here. And I'm like, oh my God, I met him like 100 days ago, and I never thought I was gonna like see him again, because when I met you initially, you were kind of like, I felt like you were kind of skeptical about doing this because you always dreamed about this, and you brought your daughter along, and I think you told me that you kind of were hoping that your daughter wanted to complete this with you in hopes, but then you did tell me that this was your dream since you were a teenager. So like I did see that you were gonna go do it on your own anyways, but you wanted to like kind of like expose your daughter with like something about you, which was great too, because like now she's doing amazing things because you did help her open up some bit of that eye,
Yeah.
So yeah, and like you're a girl's dad, and like I see that, and so I always wondered about you, and I'm like, I always thought about you, thinking like, I hope Muse is finishing the trail, and then we caught up, and you were like in the best shape. And when I saw you, I didn't even recognize you. You were like super healthy looking, and I was like, this guy's gonna finish the fucking trail. And so I was so happy I saw you, and I was so proud of you, and I'm happy that we're here now sharing our journey's experience, you know.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Wonderful
And
to see you again now. Yeah.
Dude, yeah, you have a special place in my heart. So, but that's that.
Excellent.
So this crooked letter, I didn't comment before, but hearing everybody else talk reminded me of a couple things.
Yeah.
One, them mentioning
Buffalo wrap.
Oh, that's right here.
the pause was we're at a restaurant and the food is coming up at the moment. The pause,
Chicken sandwich.
pardon that pause too. I don't know if Muse will edit this out or not.
I can make it work, or we could just leave it in there for authenticity.
Authenticity.
Yep.
But the story about Muse being a vegetarian at the start, but not at the end. So when I met Muse, he was vegetarian, and then he got he got into Pauling like half a day ahead of I did. And he sends this text to the group of our Slobo Tramley of a foot-long Philly cheesesteak sandwich. And the comment is, I had a craving. So the guy went from vegetarian to foot-long Philly cheesesteak sandwich, no pause.
I mean, to be fair, I'm originally from Philly.
Okay.
So,
you had to do that.
yeah.
What made you like?
How was it?
It was delicious. It was awesome.
How did you get to Polly and be like, I'm breaking my 4 years of?
I mean, yeah. It was Metronome's fault. He wrote a great review on Far Out. And then I just couldn't get it out of my head. And I'm like, well, I guess I'm having a Philly cheesesteak. So, Metronome, if you're listening.
Metronome. I met him once.
Unsweet tea.
All right. Thanks a lot, guys. Rock on. Awesome to be here at Trail Days.
Hell yeah.
All right. Muse here again. I am here with Miss Janet. Now, Miss Janet was a big part of my hike last year. She is the person who brought the 7 Slobos together for Thanksgiving. And so she is right here. Now, Miss Janet, how long have you been connected with the trail?
Oh, my goodness. If I tell you that, you'll try to figure out how old I am.
Okay. Maybe just approximately.
Since I was 17 years old.
Good enough. Good enough. What advice would you have for hikers out there?
Oh, I am. See, it's missing right here because I had to take it off. But right here, it always said free unsolicited advice zone because I'm full of it. So I usually have one that I pop off the top of my head. If you think you need to go faster and do more miles and cover more ground faster, slow down. You just messed up. Because most people that end up, especially into this, first month, into the first 6 weeks, now they're getting their land legs and they're feeling good. And then instead of just gradually adding some miles, they decide they're going to start doing 10 more miles a day. And then I'm putting them on a bus and they're going home. So if you think you're going too slow and you need to be going faster and hiking faster, slow down.
I couldn't agree more. If I hadn't slowed down, I would have missed out on everything I just said. Honestly.
Excellent.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you, Miss Janet. Well, thank you so much for being part of my hike last year, and thank you for being on the podcast.
You're very welcome. Is this your first Trail Days?
This is my first Trail Days.
Gosh, I love a Trail Days virgin. Be careful. Take it easy. Pace yourself. Hydrate.
That sounds exactly like your advice for the trail.
It works just as well. You have a great evening.
All right, you too. Thank you. Hey, everyone. Muse here with a quick update before we get back to the trail. I just got the numbers for our very first week, and I am super excited. 114 downloads in our first 7 days. Just seeing that number was very exciting. It represents that a number of my closest family and friends are really engaging with my Appalachian Trail story, and that is astounding and also humbling. I did a little research to get the proper perspective on that and found that that first week performance is top 25% for all podcasts globally. I'm completely blown away. This ad spot first airs as I'm just hitting the festival grounds for my first Trail Days in Damascus, Virginia. If you hear this and see me at Trail Days, please let me know. I want to thank you in person. To everyone that I now get to call my audience, a sincere thank you. I am truly grateful that you chose to join me on this journey. Now, back into the woods. All right, we're back on to Friday morning. The next couple minutes are going to cover Crooked Letter and I hanging out at One Way Ministries, which was right across the street from Tent City. We got into a cornhole tournament, didn't do particularly well, but in the one game we played against some pretty cool guys, as you'll hear. Before that, we ran into Base Camp, who we knew from our 2025 hike, and also at breakfast met Duncan and Sunny Jim. All right, I am here at Trail Days. Is now, it's my day too. I was here last night, but now I am seeing Base Camp here. So, I gave it away, so I can't ask him what his trail name is. His trail name is Base Camp. Base Camp, tell us a little bit about your 2025 thru hike.
It started in February 1st, ended in October. Kind of one of the longer ones, and I don't know, it was an adventure through and through.
Excellent. Well, when I met you, it was at Cheshire, Massachusetts. We had dinner together. You would have continued north the next day, and I would have continued south. How was everything from there? How was everything from Cheshire onward?
Well, if you recall, it was directly into the rain. Mount Greylock, it was like 40 degrees. Everybody else decided to bed down, and we pushed on to the hut, top of Mount Greylock. And the fire and a hot shower is the only time you really want to push into 40-degree rain.
Very nice. Anything you want to say to the 2026 hikers out there?
Good luck, and just keep it on. That's all you need to do.
Awesome. Thanks, Base Camp. Good to see you.
Good seeing you.
And Crooked Letter and I are now at One Way Ministries, where they are offering a free hiker breakfast. So we're actually just enjoying the crowd in here and the ambiance and of course, a free breakfast. You want to be on the podcast?
Yeah, sure.
All right. What's your trail name?
My trail name is Duncan because of the donut hat that I'm wearing.
Excellent. When did you hike?
I went northbound, started April 14th, and finished September 27th.
Of 2025?
2025, sorry, yeah. So 166 days on the trail.
What was your favorite thing on the trail?
The people. I know that's what probably everyone says, but definitely the people. I went technically alone, as I tell people, but I met so many different people along the way, and it was just great just having the companionship and trading stories.
Very cool. Thank you very much, Duncan. You want to be on the podcast?
Sure, I'll do it.
All right, excellent. What's your trail name?
Sunny Jim.
All right, Sunny Jim. And when did you do your hike?
So I hiked last year, 2025, started northbound and then had to jump up at Harper's Ferry to go to Katahdin and do southbound.
Excellent. And what's some advice you would give to the 2026 hikers?
So I tried to do it on a budget for $30 a day, and I spent only $26 a day. I would have stayed at more hostels along the way and experienced that more, and instead of cheating out on and just staying in shelters and tents. So I would enjoy the hike as much as you can.
So live it up while you got it, right?
You got the time, go do it.
Excellent. Thank you very much. All right, still at One Way. Crooked Letter and I have signed up for the cornhole tournament, and we're going to see if we can actually win a couple games of cornhole. Crooked Letter and I are playing against Jimbo Poppins and Heat. All right, you want to be on the AT podcast?
Yes, sir.
All right, what is your trail name?
My name is Jimbo Poppins, the one and only.
All right, Jimbo Poppins, the one and only. What are you most looking forward to here at Trail Days?
Just meeting everybody that I met last year on my thru hike and just having a great time all in general.
Excellent. Can I hit you with one follow-up? So did you go Nobo in 2025?
Yes, sir. Yep. I hiked Nobo as my 1974 Kelty external frame pack I carried in memory of my uncle. After he passed away, I found it in storage and I lugged it up and started with 100 pounds up the 700 steps at the pre-trail before the Springer Mountain hike.
Beautiful, beautiful. That's an awesome story, man. Thank you very much.
I got my name. Yeah. Great to meet you, man.
Yeah. Heat, you want to be on the podcast?
Sure.
All right. What is your trail name?
It is Heat.
All right, Heat. When did you hike?
I hiked in 21 into 22.
All right, excellent. And what is your favorite thing on your thru hike?
My thru hike is seeing people that I haven't hiked with in over 5, 6 years. Yeah, so it's fantastic, and I mean it does my heart good to see everybody. So and that's my favorite part of this entire trail, is just to see the people, and it's gorgeous.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much, and good game.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Breaking in real quick here to cover a couple things that I thought were pretty cool. One of the things is Duncan, one of the guys that we ate breakfast with there, he had actually read the trail journal. And that was kind of interesting. It was kind of fun to kind of run into somebody who had just picked up that journal and just read it, all the way through for the inspiration of it. And then the next day, I ran into Heat again, and he had just gotten a call from his family. His daughter went to the hospital because he was about to become a grandfather for the first time. And I think he was about to leave the festival and go celebrate that. So I just think it's really cool how many different wonderful stories are interwoven in this place. And in this next segment, I talked to some 2025 Nobos, which you'll probably catch on to it. It was foolish of me. I just assumed they were 26 hikers, and then they told me they were last year, just like I was. So the interview then continues on in the correct context. And then I finally catch up with Grambo, which she and I had been texting for a little bit, just trying to coincide, and finally met up with her again. So that was great. All right, it's almost 11:30 on Friday. I'm headed back to Tent City. I'm just going to drop some stuff off at my tent. I made a couple signs to put with my stickers and just to have some people take them. One of them found a home, the other one didn't, and that's fine. It was always just kind of whatever it was going to be, right? The other thing I don't need anymore is this hoodie because it is absolutely beautiful out here. So I've been also walking around, passing out stickers and stuff. Daddy Longlegs and the crew are passing out a ton of stickers for me too, and that's pretty cool, getting the word out about the podcast, but mostly just having fun meeting people. And all right, headed back into town from Tent City. That second sign actually did find a home. It's sitting at the check-in to Tent City, so that's great. Met a couple great people, so that's awesome too. And I'm going to see what is going on in town. You want to be on the podcast?
Yes.
All right, what is your trail name?
Swampfoot.
Swampfoot. Is this your trail family?
Sort of.
Sort of.
Yeah.
Okay, I promised 2, but it's going to be 3. Do you guys have a name for your trail family by chance?
There's several.
Several names?
Yeah.
What are a couple of the lead ones?
The big one is Trash Dog and the Pups, or T-Dog and the Pups for short. My little subsect was the Swamp Pack, and they worked on a new one recently.
What did we do? The Woods Weary Wanderers. Yes.
Okay, nice. Well, thank you, Swampfoot.
Of course, yeah. It's a pleasure.
You want to be on the podcast?
Sure, I'll be on the podcast.
All right, excellent. What's your trail name?
I'm Trash Dog.
Trash Dog. Okay, Trash Dog, how did you get that trail name?
I joked about eating a hot dog out of the trash.
That'll do it.
Trash Dog.
Awesome. Thank you, Trash Dog.
Sorry.
You want to be on the podcast?
Yes, absolutely.
All right. What is your trail name?
My name is Peebs the Peanut Butter Prophet.
Peebs the Peanut Butter Prophet.
Yes.
All right. I'm going to ask for a prophecy. What is the silliest thing that you're going to do north of here? I assume you're going northbound.
We did it last year.
Oh, okay. Oh, well, that wouldn't be much of a prophecy looking backwards, right? What was the best thing from last year? How about that?
Oh my gosh. I mean, the best thing from last year for me was dispelling the myth of the Virginia blues. We had such a great time in this state. It's so great to be back and take a victory lap with everybody. Yeah.
Rock on. Same. I loved Virginia.
Yeah.
Virginia might have been my favorite state.
Yeah.
Want to be on the podcast?
Most definitely.
All right, excellent. What is your trail name?
I'm Crazy.
All right, Crazy. And what is the craziest thing you did on trail?
There was a lot of shenanigans with ham. About over 2 pack outs, I think I got about 7 pounds of ham into the backwoods.
All right, Timber from my trail family would get along well with you. For him, it was Spam, but yeah.
That's always a good one too.
All right, awesome. Thank you. And would you like to be on the podcast?
Sure.
All right, what is your trail name?
I'm Portal.
All right, Portal. Are you also went last year as well?
I did.
All right, 2025 through hikers, just like me. Awesome. What is the advice you would give to the 2026 through hikers?
Don't think of Katahdin as your endpoint. Just have fun where you are.
Awesome. Nice. Thank you. All right, I've been in town. I've stopped back at the Outfitter, and I ran into Base Camp in town. So he and I are walking back to Tent City right now. We actually stopped in at the Broken Fiddle, where I stayed last year with John. When John visited me, that was great, and it was good to say hi to Treehouse there. And Base Camp and I are heading back to Tent City because that's where Grambo is. We're going to meet up with Grambo. All right, I'm not going to give it away this time. What is your trail name?
Grambo with a G.
Grambo with a G. Excellent. Grambo, this is, of course, Muse's Appalachian Trail podcast. So where do you fit into Muse's Appalachian Trail story?
I met Muse on my section hike last fall. He was southbound. I was southbound as well. No, I didn't meet you until after my hike.
That's right. Yep. You met Foggy Froggy and Silly Putty, and then we met later when you were our trail angel.
That's right.
Yeah. That was fun. Thank you for that, by the way.
You are welcome.
All right. And what, give us your hiking resume, because I know it's actually pretty long.
Not real long. I section hiked the whole Pacific Crest Trail. And this is my second big section hike of the AT.
All right, yeah, and you hiked in 2 trail days. So where did you start this time?
I started in Irwin, Tennessee.
All right, very nice, very nice. Anything else you want to say on the podcast?
Hello, everybody.
All right, thank you, Grambo. All right, so back at One Way Ministries, we met Grambo here, actually Crooked Letter caught up with us on the way there, so the 4 of us are hanging out here. Pretty cool. They got some, I don't know if you can hear it, but some violin music playing in the back. A lot of people in here, and continuing to enjoy the kindness here at One Way Ministries. Yeah. Would you like to be on the podcast?
Of course I would.
All right, what is your trail name?
Recon.
All right. And a moment ago, you were just telling me about your story of your 2024 Sobo thru-hike. Can you go ahead and retell that story for the audience?
Yeah, sure. So I started back on trail from Mount Katahdin on June 20th, and I was heading south, and the hurricane hit, Helene that is, when I was in Pennsylvania. So it didn't really affect us very much, but when I got down to Burke's Garden in Southwest Virginia, the trail was closed from Elka Garden all the way into Damascus, and then from the Tennessee-Virginia state line all the way to Davenport Gap. So well over 200 miles of trail closure. Also, by the time I got to that point, I'd had almost 10 days of temperatures in the 15-degree range at night, and oftentimes post-holing knee-deep in snow. So I made the decision on December 3rd to go home from Burke's Garden. I went to Marion and rented a car. Then I got back on March 24th, exact same place, Burke's Garden, and I went south and I finished at Springer on May 10th. And
very nice.
What was kind of cool about that was that my kids, who were 21 and 19 at the time, drove down to Springer Mountain to the parking lot there and met me a mile from the summit and walked the last mile with me.
I actually had the exact almost same experience at the end there anyway. My kids also met me a mile from the summit and walked that last mile with me. It was awesome.
Yeah, that's really cool. And so my trail name Recon is because when I was enlisted in the Marine Corps, I was Marine Reconnaissance. And so I did a fundraiser for the Marine Reconnaissance Foundation to support their Gold Star Family Services. So every year they take 10 or 12 Gold Star families, those are families who have lost a Marine on active duty, and they take them to a retreat in Hawaii. And so I did a fundraiser tied to a YouTube channel, Recon Hikes. And then the fundraiser, ultimately, I raised $25,000, which was enough to send 2 families to Oahu.
Very nice. That is awesome. That is an awesome story. Hey, everybody, listen to Recon Hikes on, watch Recon Hikes on YouTube.
On YouTube, yeah.
All right. Thank you, Recon.
Very cool. Thank you.
It was great to meet Recon. He was in the tent right next door to mine, and it turns out, among other things that was cool about his story there, he finished up really right before I got started. In this next segment, we're going to talk to a couple more folks that I knew from 2025. All right, what's your trail name?
Truck Stop.
All right, Truck Stop. So this is a podcast about Muse's Appalachian Trail story. Where last year do you fit into that story?
Outside of the Devil's Backbone concession stand, we waited for an hour and a half to get pretzels that never came.
Oh my gosh!
And then we just stole other people's food. Because we're not rude people, but we stood there. Do you remember this? We stood there forever. And I hope, maybe I'm wrong, but I hope I've never been rude in a restaurant before. But we had to stand there for an hour. And I said, the next fucking thing that comes off that grill, I'm taking. Because people were just taking other people's food. Like, we weren't the first to do it. I don't know if you did it. I definitely did.
You did, yes.
Yeah, so that's how I fit in.
I did not. But you did.
I did not.
To answer the
But that's when I asked you for a ride. You were sitting there like waiting for the pretzel, fuming, and I'm like, dude, can I have a ride tomorrow?
Yeah.
And you're like, yeah, I think I'll work that out. Yeah.
That's both exactly right, and one of the few things I remember from that night.
Nice. So what is your wider trail story? Because I know it spans a few years. Can we get a synopsis?
I live near Shenandoah National Park, and when I used to go in the park for work, and I would throw sodas and oranges at thru-hikers as if they were zoo animals, which is not far from the truth. And it progressed from there. I started doing, I would bring pizzas into one of the huts there and beers at night, and then I started throwing big parties at one of the campgrounds in the area.
And what is your yearly get-together called?
Nero Palooza. There's two every spring and one every fall. It's two weeks after trail days, 4 weeks after trail days, and the first weekend in October. You gotta make it.
Awesome. Thanks, Truck Stop. I'm in North Carolina. Yeah.
He wants to know your biggest fears and all that stuff.
I mean,
So first question, what's your trail name?
Nature Boy.
All right. And where do you fit in Muse's Appalachian Trail story? Do you remember?
No.
Only at Devil's Backbone. You were the one guy there that I met for the first time that night. Everybody else, I already knew.
I remember now.
Yeah. To be fair, it was your birthday.
Yes! Right. You mentioned him going. Yeah. Hell yeah.
So, Nature Boy, what was your favorite thing on trail last year?
Favorite thing on trail.
All the wonderful friends you met.
How about the Port Clinton bar?
All the wonderful friends I met and the Port Clinton bar.
And then this was pretty cool. Daddy Longlegs saw somebody she knew from the PCT. So I went ahead and got them as well. All right. Would you like to be on the podcast?
Sure.
What's your trail name?
Charcuterie.
Charcuterie. How did you get that trail name?
I carry a lot of really fancy food on trail.
That's awesome. Awesome. What is your trail name?
Mima.
All right, Mima, what is your favorite story on the trail so far?
I walked into Irwin pretty late in the night, and I walked into a group of people, and they said, "Hey, we're going karaoke in the hour if you want to join." And I did, and we had a really wild time. And it was fun. It was like a pregame to trail days.
That's awesome. Great. Thank you very much. Would you like to be on the podcast?
Okay.
All right. That sounded like, yes, I would really love to.
Sorry.
What is your trail name?
Mamacita Whiskey Legs.
Mamacita Whiskey Legs?
Yes.
All right. Nice to meet you, Mamacita Whiskey Legs. And I am just going to ask the softball question here because I think I've already heard it, but I'd think my listeners might like to hear it too. How do you know Daddy Longlegs?
We met in Washington on the PCT in the last hostel. What was it? Mazama?
Yeah,
Lions Den, exactly. We met there. Yeah, just before. No.
I was there when she was there.
But maybe
Very
she was
cool.
there super long. I'm sorry.
That's great. This is great. I met her last year on the AT.
Okay, because
Yeah, first shelter in the wilderness. She and I both went southbound last year.
First shelter for us, it was like Last Hostel, and Mima and I, we met on the CDT last year, and we hiked all the long trails in the same years.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, nice to meet you both. Thank you very much. Hey, everyone. This is the part of the episode between the entry and the commentary, where as the podcast develops, I'll drop in an ad or two to get the bills paid. Nothing too intrusive, hopefully, and maybe if we're lucky, we'll pick up some trail-related sponsors. At this point, though, I thought I'd write an ad of my own and read it out. What I'm selling today is simply a plea to get in touch with me. I'll say it in the body of some of the episodes, but probably sometimes I won't. But I really do want to connect. Not only would I love feedback, truly, and am itching to field a question or two, but I also would love to hear your trail stories. This podcast is my way, post-trail, of connecting back with the AT community. Whether you're reliving past glory like I am on this show, prepping for an upcoming hike, or maybe you're on the trail here in 2026, or maybe you're just someone who likes hiking content or in particular the Appalachian Trail, whatever brings you here, I'd love to get to know you. So reach out on Instagram by following Muse Hikes, or email me at museatpodcast@gmail.com. Or another cool way to get in touch, and I'll start getting back to checking this regularly, is to drop a note in my trail journal if you click through to that. The trail journal has pictures with each journal entry, and sometimes I'll refer directly to the picture in the entry as I read it out, so you might want to see that. And I'll also share some photos on that Instagram account as well. There are links to the Instagram profile, the email, and the trail journal in the show notes to each episode. Whichever way you decide to reach out, I'm looking forward to hearing from you. And now, back to the show. And that's going to be most of Friday there. Crooked Letter and I then would go to dinner with El Presidente and El Presidente's father, Pancho. And this is pretty cool because El Presidente was actually in Crooked Letter's original trail family before I ever met him.
Do this.
All right, what's your trail name?
El Presidente.
All right, tell me a little bit about your Appalachian Trail story.
I started last year going Sobo. I had to get pulled off trail because of bills. Now I'm going back Nobo this year, 2026, and got nothing but a phone bill to pay off now, and I'm hoping to make it all the way from Springer to Katahdin.
Excellent, excellent. So actually you hiked with Crooked Letter for a while last year, right?
Yes, sir, absolutely, yep.
Excellent. And what's the big difference between Sobo and Nobo for you so far?
Definitely a lot more people. I feel like going Sobo, the people you start with, you get real tight just because of the terrain and just how it is going up through the New England and everything. But I've seen half of my crew from going Sobo, so that's awesome. And now I'm going Nobo this year, meeting so many more people. So, I mean, it's just kind of a blessing at both ends.
Very cool, very cool. Where are you on trail right now?
Damascus, Virginia, and as soon as I...
Oh, so you're here on trail?
No. Oh, my bad. No, so I'm just here right now. But no, on trail right now, I'm in Irwin, 9.5 miles away from Uncle Johnny's, which is a fantabulous place to stay.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Nice. Very good. Thank you, El Presidente. Nice to meet you.
Yep, nice to meet you too. Hell yeah, man. Cool deal.
All right, you want to be on the podcast?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. And your trail name?
Barbarossa.
Barbarossa. And you are a 2026 Nobo?
Yes, I am.
Excellent. What are you loving about the trail so far?
Oh, man, just being out in nature, honestly. Just being away from it all and the peace and quiet out there is just beautiful. The scenery, and it's amazing out there.
Very nice. Well, enjoy the rest of your hike, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. Good to meet you.
Thank you.
Nice to meet you, Muse. Have a good one.
Yeah, you too. Well, first, what's your trail name?
My trail name is Pancho.
All right. And what is it like? So I understand that you are not on trail yourself, but that your son is on trail. What is it like supporting a thru hiker?
It is wonderful. It's definitely been an experience. This is my first time visiting him off the trail on trail days.
First time visiting on trail. It's trail days. That's awesome.
It is, and it's like a memorable experience of taking a lot of pictures, and I'll probably never forget this experience.
Yeah. You really get a sense of the community here, don't you?
I do. I feel like I'm one of them, even though I'm like an outsider. I'm looking around, everyone welcomes everybody. It's just like a neat little city where it's like all one close-knit family.
Yeah, well, and you got a connection to the trail, man.
Thank you very much, and I'll see you out there.
Yeah, nice to meet you.
You too. Bye-bye.
And then we jump into Saturday, and the highlights of Saturday to me are going to be seeing Shotgun, one of the people in my original trail family, as you know, hanging out with Poet and Hippie Chick at nighttime, and getting to see Kiddo's performance of some of the songs and material that she had in her audiobook that I listened to a couple times on trail. We got just a couple more mini interviews left, and then we'll go ahead and wrap this thing up. Would you like to be on their podcast?
Oh, I don't know if we have time. We'll see. I would like to.
Okay, cool. Well, I'm hoping to get you for a full interview later, but this is going to be a quick 2-question deal for my Trail Days episode.
Yeah. Sure, shoot.
Awesome. So what's your trail name?
Shotgun.
All right, and so this is a podcast about Muse's Appalachian Trail story. Where do you fit into that story?
Oh, wow. Where did we first meet? Was it the Notch? I think it was the Notch. You were laying on the couch. Yeah,
that's likely.
Yeah, you were laying on the couch, and I think I was there.
Oh, it was a 0 day. Of course I'm laying on the couch. What are you supposed to do, right?
I think it was Frogger, yeah. And I think it was Frogger.
Frogger was there? Ratatouille was there?
He hadn't come yet.
Okay,
I think. So, he came later.
Yep. Awesome,
That's
awesome.
Right.
And the last time I saw you was Bennington, Vermont.
Was it really?
Stuff finally caught up with you, and you were taking a 0, and I was moving on.
Okay.
And then I never saw you again.
Well, you were on a plan. I remember we
was
went
on
to
a
church
mission.
Together.
Yep. And that was an awesome day. That was Bennington.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then that was it.
And
I
that
never
was,
caught back up again.
That was when the hiker hunger hit you too. And you were like, how am I eating this much in the diner afterwards?
Oh, that's right.
And I was like, haha, we've all been there.
Yeah. I ate like 2 breakfasts there.
Yeah, right. I don't know if it was only 2.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah.
Speaking of news.
And Jen is here too. Jen, what is your Appalachian Trail story?
My Appalachian Trail story is following Shotgun along the way. So my trail name turned out to be Riding Shotgun.
Nice.
And I've met...
Named by Waterboy,
a Nobo. And what have I done with it? So I did Katahdin with them. I did the Whites. I did some of New York, New Jersey, and Pennsylvania. And now I'm back out for Virginia.
I remember because even after, I last saw Shotgun at Bennington, like I said, but we kept up, right? And he just was often saying that you were joining him for a section. That was awesome. I was awesome to hear. I was like, yeah, Jen's here on the trail too.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
That's awesome. So great to see you guys. Thank you.
Nice to see you.
All right, I am here with Walmart, who I met last year, and a hiker I'm meeting for the first time. So actually, first of all, what is your trail name?
Walmart.
That's Walmart, and this is?
Scatter.
Scatter. So Walmart and Scatter. I actually think you are both like perennial Appalachian Trail hikers, right? So what is like the best thing you've ever seen on trail, or what has the trail given to you?
Patience, understanding, just how to deal with problems on the fly, and just showing you what you really need to live. You only need really food, water, and shelter, some love. That's all you really need, man.
It's a lot simpler than a lot of us make it, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Scatter?
Gave me faith in humanity back, essentially. There's so many great freaking people out here, and that's why I'm gonna keep coming back, and yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful. And for context for you listeners, I met Walmart last year at the Catamount Inn in Bennington, Vermont. We got fed by Sir Stops-A-Lot.
Heck yeah.
Excellent. That was awesome.
Hikers, that's awesome.
Yeah.
He's an awesome person, great person for the trail.
Awesome. Well, so glad to run into you again, man.
Good running into you, Muse. Happy
and thank you
trail
both.
days.
Happy trail days.
Yeah. And then heck yeah, awesome, brother. We gotta get something to
What
drink.
year is Bennington?
2025. Yeah. Would you like to be on the podcast?
Yes.
What is your trail name?
Mr. IT.
All right, Mr. IT, what is your favorite moment on the Appalachian Trail?
Favorite moment on the Appalachian Trail? That is a big ask, and I am too stupid to come up with a moment right now.
Let me do another one, because I just heard a story that I'd like to I'd like to capture that story, because it's a cool one. Why do they call you Mr. IT?
So, a few years ago, Gut Hooks or Far Out had a problem. It will forget your account and log you out, and then you lose access to the trail. And every time you try to sign in, it acted like you put in the wrong password. I knew the fix. It was just a simple resetting the cache of the app. But a lot of people don't know that. So I'm sitting here in the Priest, having dinner. Someone walks in, complains about it. I'm like, oh, I know how to fix that. I start fixing it. 2 more people walk in 5 minutes with the same problem. I'm like, I'll fix that too. So here I am, having dinner with 3 different phones in front of me, with 1 bar of service on each of them, trying to fix it. I fix all of them, and they go, wow, you're a regular Mr. IT. And that's how real life found me on the trail.
That is awesome. Well, thank you, Mr. IT. Enjoy the rest of Trail Days.
Yep, thank you.
Oh, what, are you gonna do it now?
Let's do it. Let's do it, man.
Okay.
You want to be on?
Sure.
All right, what's your trail name?
The Shrooming Camel.
All right, Shrooming Camel. What is, let's see. Well, when did you hike Shrooming Camel?
I did the trail in 2023.
Okay. And in 2023, what is the most awesome thing that happened to you out there?
I found a reason to live.
Do you want to go in any deeper on that? We can just leave it there if that's where it ought to be left.
No, I don't mind. My wife died a horrible death of cancer, and I felt like I was supposed to do this. And so when I feel that way, nothing's going to stop me. So I decided I'm going to do this. The Appalachian Trail was a dream for 50 years. I read a book in 1973 about Earl Schaefer hiking the Appalachian Trail, and he had PTSD.
Yeah.
Well, they didn't know what it was back then, but anyway, you know, my dad was also a World War II vet, and he killed people. But, and he ended up an alcoholic. Long story short, I ended up, my wife had a horrible death, and I couldn't handle it.
Yeah.
And on her deathbed, she tells me, she says, Stephen, I think you ought to hike the Appalachian Trail. It's always been your dream. I'm going to die.
That's beautiful, man.
Yeah. And we were going to do that together. We were like, not even high school sweethearts. We were middle school sweethearts.
Yeah.
She was in 7th grade.
That's beautiful.
And I was in 9th grade. Now, I flunked twice.
Okay.
So, anyway, so, you know, life gets in the way, and it just didn't happen for me and her. But on her deathbed, 6 days before she died,
said, you do this.
You do this, or else something inside
You're out there
you.
doing it for her at that point.
Yeah, I was.
Yeah.
And I was like, I am not freaking going to quit. I don't care if this trail kills me. I'm doing this for somebody I absolutely loved. And so I did. And I broke 5 bones. I went through 3 hurricanes. I busted 2 teeth out.
Okay.
I dislocated my shoulder. I broke my collarbone. And my rotator cuff was torn. And what else? I broke both of my thumbs. And
Okay. I don't know how you managed all that. That's
yeah,
kind
it
of
was
crazy.
different accidents, but
Okay.
but you know that your podcast probably isn't long enough for that.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Well, it is wonderful to meet you, man. You know what? That's so beautiful. Let me give you a hug, man.
Hey, I love you, man. Thank you for giving me my chance to tell
Absolutely.
my story.
Absolutely. Thank you for telling your story.
Yeah. Thanks, brother.
All right. Would you like to be on the podcast?
Yes, for sure.
Excellent. What is your trail name?
Babysitter.
Babysitter. How did you get that trail name?
I am here like babysitting a friend that is 70 years old, and his wife told him that he could only come if I was with him, you know?
If he had a babysitter, he can come on the trail.
Yes,
that's awesome. Where are you from?
I'm from Brazil, Belo Horizonte, Minas Gerais.
Excellent. And before we started this interview, you mentioned that you're a section hiker.
Yes.
So how many sections have you done? When are you planning to finish?
I did one section actually from Gatlinburg to Damascus here.
Okay.
And that's it. I will go back to Brazil in 8 days.
Nice. Do you like to do hiking back in Brazil?
Yes. We don't have a trail like Appalachian Trail that long.
Okay.
But you can do like 60, 80 mile trail.
I imagine there's great hiking in Brazil.
Yeah, that is.
Awesome. Nice to meet you. Thanks for being on the podcast.
Yeah, thank you so much.
All right, folks, and that was Trail Days for me in 2026, my first Trail Days after my 2025 thru hike. I hope you enjoyed the various stories that you heard. And to me, it's just amazing and humbling to get to pull those together. And it just makes, reflecting back on this past weekend, it just makes me think about how it's never about any one story. Life, whether it's the trail or life in general, it's all about how the various stories intersect. And that's where you find the real beauty in life. And on that note, next episode is going to take us back into my 2025 narrative, where we are on the verge of ascending Mount Katahdin. This has been Muse. Thank you for joining me on this Trail Days episode. Thank you for walking with me, and happy trails.
Here